What is that?
It's my bone.
God damn it, Cartman!
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Darcy?
Holy shit, dude.
Did you get a fucking Dumbledore pipe? Is that what that shit is? This motherfucker. How you have me start the podcast?
Some fucking Gandalf shit right there.
Like, he just sit there just like, all right, let's go, buddy. Let's go.
A wizard is neither late nor does he arrive early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
You know what? For someone who doesn't like Pip, you sure are acting like a Brit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Check My Bows. I'm your host, and the ear is clean, and I'm lighting up green. Ya boy, MSG. We're back for another edition with my three amigos. As you see in the middle there, he's not a square. He's looking kind of dapper and debonair. He used to be the douchebag from New York, and he used to be a kid who didn't care. But now he's back. I hope my intro was able to live up to expectations, and he loves it, and it will be a grand fair. Joe Vernola.
That was almost as good as my facial hair.
Thank you.
I went like you kept going debonair and everything. I was like, okay, where's the facial hair? Where's the? It never happened.
I wanted you. I don't want to take away your shine. This is your. You could have came in and been the one. I don't know. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Welcome back to the second.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me again. It's good to be here.
And of course, each and every week, he makes his way back. This time he's on the attack as he's got his lunch sack and he's smoking from his magic pipe and all that. He's talking about Ski Jackson.
What's up, boys?
Motherfucking Gandalf over here is Joe.
Right.
I love this thing.
Well, we're back to review another episode of South Park, boys. The conclusion of season 3. We've made it through the stretch. This is it, the final one. And then we get into one of the top 5 seasons next week with season 4. But before we get there, we have to give you the breakdown of how South Park chose to end season 3 in a very interesting fashion. Very interesting topic of conversation, and well, they flipped it, and I don't know how well this episode would go over now in 2020.
I was thinking the same thing while I was watching my first time through. I was like,
Yeah, like
they would put this on TV right now.
I don't think they could.
Wouldn't over well.
I don't believe so.
Like, I'm fairly certain there's some episodes that Paramount or Comedy Central or Viacom, whomever it is just like, no, this can't be in syndication. Like, this airs after midnight on Saturday nights only, if at all.
Yeah, no, it's not one that I've seen in a while. In fact, I'm gonna check it out. I think Pluto might be into like season 2 right now. They're like showing it every week on their channel, on the Comedy Central channel there. And since they've got the first 10 seasons, I will look out for it and see if they end up putting this episode up on Pluto. I'll be interested to see if they show it there. But the episode is titled Worldwide Recorder Concert. It is the 48th overall episode of South Park. It is our 51st episode. Check my bows. It aired on January 12th, 2000. The children of South Park are invited to Arkansas for the 4 million child blow. 2000. The first worldwide recorder and probably last recorder concert. So that's the overall, I guess you might say, synopsis of what's the episode about. So going into that, you're like, okay, it's going to be interesting. It's just about some kids, playing recorders. Because we all had a recorder.
Yeah.
When we were kids, we all did the stupid little three blind mice. See how they run, right?
Yeah.
So we all
Still
played
remember
those.
how to play mine.
Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
John Cena's intro. I can play that. Yeah. It took me a while to figure out, but I finally figured it out.
And MSG, were you about to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star like Rick Moranis and Honey, I Blew Up the Baby?
I don't know. Maybe.
It sounded like it.
I don't know. Let's move on to the plot. Rick, not to go off on a tangent, but Rick Moranis walking down the street and just getting randomly punched by a homeless dude
Sucks.
Fucked up, dude.
Fuck this year.
Up, Rick Moranis?
Rick Moranis is a treasure.
You didn't hear that story, Scoot?
I didn't know it was Rick Moranis, but I knew some celebrity randomly got punched in the face by a homeless.
He's just walking through the subway, and if you look at him, he left Hollywood and all that bullshit, so he was just wearing a regular jacket, blue jeans. You wouldn't know, unless you know who it is. And then when he got punched in the face, somebody finds him, and they're like, "Holy shit, it's Rick Moranis!" You know what I mean? It's on everywhere. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
He said he's fine though. He's okay, but still. Okay, and apparently I don't know if they caught the guy. They might have caught the guy. I'm not sure. There was a manhunt for the guy. They took it serious. They're like, we got to get this motherfucker. This guy helped stop shit. We got to get him. They were there. Anyway, back to the episode of the plot here. In Mr. Garrison's class, guys, it opens up with the class practicing for the world's biggest recorder concert. They sound horrible. Every fourth grade
suck.
Every fourth grade class. My country tears at the sweet land of liberty. Joe, I know you said you played it. Were you ever a recorder aficionado?
Not an aficionado, no. My sister was the aficionado. I just no, this thing sounds like ass, and why play that when there are real instruments? Good at that age, I was playing guitar and drums, I think.
Okay, that's make more sense. And then, of course, you just told me, Scoop, that you basically learned how to fucking play Mozart Symphony No. 5 on the recorder. So you are apparently a recorder master. And if in a battle where we are entering and I need someone to play the entrance music, of the Americans entering the war, that's you. You're that guy now. So.
I got you.
I mean, and you look good in the uniform. So and then you play the little flute thing, and then you run. So you get out of the way.
And then I can.
We need you to keep playing the flute. We need you to keep playing the flute. So you got to get out of the way.
And then I can be the Cartman drummer. Yeah, yeah.
Larry Cleveland. Yeah, and I'll be Stan, the guy with the flag.
That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Check that out on our YouTube review. Red Badge Gayness. So Cartman is in the classroom making, cracking jokes, of course, about them all sucking. Mr. Garrison yells at him. He's like, you guys clearly didn't practice. And Cartman's like, that's not true, Miss Garrison. Kyle's been practicing his fingering.
Damn it, I don't think you children have been working on your fingering.
That's not true, Mr. Garrison. Kyle was working on his fingering with his mom all night long. Shut up, fat ass. No, seriously. Kyle's mom says Kyle's getting really good at fingering.
Shut up, Eric.
With his mom.
Fingering his man. And then Kenny
He's been practicing his fingering with his mom every night.
He makes some great jokes here of fingering.
Yeah, fucking savage.
There's a lot of
really starts to define himself.
Yeah,
there's a lot of double entendre jokes on some underscoring and underlying jokes that they're just saying regular words, but they have also double meaning to them in this episode.
Right,
that one right there for sure. We'll get. I'm just gonna tell you now. When they introduce Kenny G later, they call him a wind instrument aficionado.
Yeah, a wind instrument aficionado.
But that's not how they say it though. They shorten. I think they say a wood blow instrument. So it sounds like he's an aficionado at blowing wood, which then plays later into with Mr. Garrison. So I just thought that was great as well. Wow, they really went balls deep here in this episode. You might say, ha 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 ha.
Ho, ho, ho. Yeah. You're a punny guy, MSG.
Thank you. So Mr. Mackey now enters the classroom and he's like, "Oh, this sounds pretty good, I'm going." And Mr. Garrison's like, "Yeah, if you like the sound of animals dying or something like that, right?"
Okay, that's sounding great, kids. Sure, if you like the sound of a peacock getting its neck broken.
Mr. Mackey explains that unfortunately the trip to Oklahoma has to be changed as a terrible flood hit it. So the location has been updated to Arkansas. And Mr. Garrison exclaims, Arkansas! And he explains to Mr. Mackey in private that he can't go to Arkansas because that's where his parents live. Mr. Mackey sits him down. Okay, as a counselor, you can go and talk to me about anything. Was there a history of sexual abuse in your family as a child? To which Mr. Garrison, first says, yes, my uncle. And he's like, oh, how long ago was that? He's like, last weekend. And I was like, what? And Mr. Garrison's like, and he goes on to explain. He's like, yeah, he's a paraplegic, and Mr. Garrison then Mr. Mackey asks him more directly about his family, and Mr. Garrison starts to cry, and you get the impression that Mr. Garrison has been sexually abused as a child, which now initially you're watching this episode, you're like, okay, this kind of makes sense. Like maybe that's why he turned out the way he turned out too.
Right. And I think they were doing that intentionally. Like, yeah, this is why he's the depraved man slut that he is.
They were setting up for this swerve.
Yeah, they were definitely setting up for the Shyamalamalan twist.
They mostly come out at night, mostly. So after he's convinced by Mr. Mackey, you have to go to Arkansas, okay? And you need to speak with your parents, and you need to get over this, okay? Okay. So and then Mr. Garrison runs out of the room. And then of course Cartman gives his patented line.
Don't look at me. I'll go on your bastard trip, but just don't look at me.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
That big here.
That big here.
That big here. So it was a great moment.
It was. It's a good one.
So now they're on the bus ride, right? And Cartman is trying to find what's called the brown note. We'll elaborate more on what that is here later, but with the help of Kenny being his test subject. So this is kind of the subplot of this story. And the subplot here is Cartman and Kenny are looking to find the brown note as they want to figure out a way to play the note that makes people crap their pants. Crap your pants. Cartman explains what it was and how the French used it during World War II and can make anybody who had crap their pants. Kyle doesn't believe Cartman. Now we shift over to Mr. Garrison as they're on the bus because they're driving, right? They immediately jumped from the classroom. Now they're on the field trip. They're driving. And he sees a sign that says now 420 miles away from Arkansas. He's freaking out, right? Then Mr. Mackey tries to consult him. But Mr. Garrison kind of goes into his alter ego, Mr. Hat. So he starts using Mr. Hat to speak to Mr. Garrison and says, Mr. Garrison's not here right now. He can't talk. And Mackey, says that Mr. Hat is being used to cover up the fact that Mr. Garrison is switching personalities. To Mr. Hat's reply, oh, you figured that out by yourself, Sherlock. Monkeys make better counselors. Upon hearing this, Mackey is infuriated, gets into a fight with Mr. Hat.
Well, you son of a bitch!
No, Mr. Mackey and Mr. Hat are fighting.
I'm gonna kick your ass, okay? No! You may have won this time, Mr. Hat.
In the passageway of the bus, and the kids in the bus, they're all screaming, Mr. Mackey, Mr. Hat are fighting. Like they're just fighting. Ridiculous. And Mr. Hat beats up Mr. Mackey, guys. He's able to get the victory.
You may have won this one, Mr. Hat.
I mean, that's like when Kenny Omega lost to a broom. It happens.
I guess. Wow. I don't know if a lot of our listeners are going to get that reference, but
no, not at all. Dramatic Dream Team Pro, check it out. Japanese crap.
So after he loses the fight, Mrs. Crab, she's all yelling. She's in the back of the bus. Sit down! Shut up! You can see Mr. Mackey with like a black eye and shit. He's all messed up. So they get up.
There was a Japanese wrestler that wrestled a dummy
Mhm.
and he lost to it. Is that what you were just talking about? I don't.
Yeah, that.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. There's a company called DDT Pro in Japan that like they do all kinds of stupid, not stupid, hilarious stuff like that. They had a ladder win a championship. But moving on.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
All right.
no, we're good.
So as they get off the bus now, the fourth graders, that being South Park's elementary, the third graders from New York are there, and they see them, and they're told to be, the lady comes off. Where are you guys from? South Park. All right, line up next to the New York kids. So they line up next to the New York kids, and like as soon as they walk up, like within like seconds, the New York kids they pounce on them. Yo, check out these guys. These guys come from the mountains. Stupid little rednecks, all bundled up. They get dragged on.
And if this were real, it would have been while the bus was rolling in. South Park, Colorado. The hell is that? And fucking redneck queefs. Fucking douchebags.
See, the thing about the kids from South Park, Colorado don't understand. And this might not be, of course, widely known. You guys know me from the East Coast, but like West Coast kids don't take it personal, right? They'll get upset. Like if like they had rolled back in and like fired back some good insults right away, the New York kids probably would be like, "Hey, yo!" Like, so it might have been a different conversation. These guys ain't bad. These guys ain't bad.
You guys ain't bad. You
guys are all right. You bobbed me right back in the face,
right? So like they didn't get that.
You got some balls on you.
And as a kid who grew up on the West Coast, like they don't do that here. It's more like, why would you say that, bro? Like,
why would you harsh my mellow like that?
Yeah, like that's not cool, dude.
You don't pass my vibe check.
You don't get to come to my birthday party now, bro. You don't get to come to the bitch. My mom made pancakes in the morning. We were gonna have pancake breakfast with the bitch. We're gonna do surf and syrup, and you are not coming.
Surf and syrup. Now I want to do that, but with lean as the syrup.
Yeah, I came up with that one, and that one's recorded. Thank God I finally said something on record.
Right. Hashtag surf and syrup. We're going to have so many Cali kids just fucking, like, with bottles of fucking log cabin and Aunt Jemima's on the fucking beach.
Look at my egg, dude. They're like, dude, that's the wrong thing. We're doing pancakes. Look at my pancakes, dude.
Extra cake, my pancake.
Extra cake, my pancake, bro.
Got extra pan in my cake.
Oh, like what they're like on a surfboard, bro. And they're like,
man.
And they're like hitting the knob, bro. And you get folded up. It's like a pancake being folded up on you, bro. So that's why I got put together, bro. Surfs and syrups, bro.
And then when you're having like a short stack on a big surf, you can just like take a big bite and shaka bra.
Shaka bra. Shaka bra. Shaka bra. Shaka bra. All right, anyway, we're getting it off here. So as we were talking about New York kids, they basically make fun of these individuals. Now, Joe, we already talked about it. Scoop, your any experiences? I mean, you technically didn't grow up in New York, more or less. You were more in New Jersey. Talk to me about the New York-New Jersey rivalry.
It's like New York was setting the fashions, and New Jersey was like, "Hey, look at me! I'm trying to keep up." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was like,
okay,
it was like
it's big brother, little brother, brother.
And it's fun. And it's funny because the only thing New Jersey did right and did first was become a state.
Hey, we became a state. Yo. Mm-hmm. Hey, we became guys. Are you excited? Jersey Shore on vacation. They're back.
Oh my God.
They're back.
We're done for, man.
2020.
GTL, bro.
GTL, bro.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scoop.
After this is over, I'm going to get some B12. And I'm going to get pumped up. By the way, I got to clue you in. Scoop, B12 is our code word for, the bad stuff.
The gas.
So everyone says B12. It's just a funny ongoing thing to be like, oh, he's jacked up on B12.
Oh, so the term is no longer looking tremendous.
Oh, tremendous. Oh, that's pretty good too.
Yeah, you throw the N in. Tremendous.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Well, basically, Braun Strowman's scoop. There's a picture of him that surfaced online where he was like talking about his workout syndrome,
and he's got a B12. He's got a
needle like sitting there
on
right
his
on the
counter,
and he's like, "That's my B12, brother. I use it because I have to use it." So now the ongoing joke on different shows throughout the is, "Yeah, bro, you're on that B12."
Oh my god!
Okay.
B12,
I was so lost for a second.
I have had several roommates on B12 in
Like,
my 12 years.
I've actually tried B12 and it does work. It does give you like a boost of energy. But like that was actually from a practitioner chick. Like that was her job. And like I just happened to be at her house one night and we were having fun and a band was in town and she was giving everybody else one. And she said, "Hey Matt, do you want to try B12?" And I was like, "Yeah, I trust you. That's your job. Sure." You know, so and they give you a shot in the butt. It was weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. But then like you're like kind of euphoric. You're like, all right. Like it feels like it cures all like ailments and shit, loosens up all your muscles, and you're like, all right, man, let's go. So I could see it technically being
I think that was PCP, Matt.
You're down with PCP? Yeah, you know me. So back to the New York kids now.
You like really just did heroin.
Shut up, guys. Don't tell people. No, that didn't happen. I've never done that.
Oh
No. It was like she was legit. Like she's got like has a job. Like, you know, she pulled it out her case and had all the bottles and blah blah blah. Like it was. I've never done that. I've never done the Asian. I don't ever wanna. I'm just saying.
Yeah, don't. You wind up.
So moving on now. So the boys, they get made fun of. They're called rednecks and queefs. And like there's at one point, like they're like, what? Like there's like a bit of science and Cartman looks over. "Hey guys, you want to queef?" And Kyle or Stan or Kyle immediately, Kenny's like, "I don't know."
Now
Kenny does.
That's where they could have had some fun with this if Kenny would have like said something.
Right.
But because you know he's usually breaking the third wall, or he hasn't really broken the third. No, yeah, he's been breaking the third wall since the beginning. Like he knows everything.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I wish he would have been able to find that.
It was a little shocking that they didn't tell that Kenny didn't know what the meaning was, but also I guess that lends to the fact that, you know, Kenny doesn't know everything, right? He's still a kid,
right?
At this point. So,
right. And some of that innocence is still there.
Mm-hmm. And it's also a female anatomy. I mean, think about it. South Park probably taught us what queef meant. I mean, at least me. You, Scoop, did teach you what the words queef meant?
I think the internet taught me what a queef was.
Interesting. Douchebag New York kid.
I mean, I was let's see, 1999. I was like, 2000. I was like 15 at the time. I definitely knew what a queef was. Maybe not in third grade, but definitely by junior high.
Maybe I just didn't know. Maybe I guess I was just shunned in that regard.
I
didn't know what it meant.
I was picked on a lot.
I just learned from this show. So, nobody really ever threw around the word queef. Like this was the first time I had heard the word queef. You quit my fast. Like that's the epitome of queef. But you quit my fast. What do you mean? That's not how babies made. Such you quit my fast for no reason.
Right.
Anyway. So after being called queefs and rednecks, now the boys are pissed. So they go back up to the hotel and they're like looking up the word queef. They can't find the meaning of it. Cartman's still looking it up. The brown noise. He finds it in the book. See, check it out, guys. It's real. The brown eyes. So he tells Kenny, "Hey, maybe we can have Kenny G help us find it." Right. Well, let's talk about really quickly here at the concert, right? All right. Before we get to the next part. So next day, the concert organizers, we see Yoko Ono and Kenny G addressing everyone. I want to talk about this first. You got Yoko Ono, who you can barely understand a word she's saying.
So Stop you, mommy, again and again, every time I say all my country, 'tis of thee.
You heard her. We'll start the rehearsal in a few minutes.
And Kenny G, who they make out to be clearly homosexual here. Even the onset here of his character being petite and, very docile, very low in his tonality when he's talking, like, oh, I just will try really hard. Okay, let's get the recorders up. So he's a very, mute, docile, sensitive type of a man. But anyway, we get to this here. They played horribly. And at this point, the kids are trying to come up with another word. I guess they're like, because they couldn't figure out what queef meant, so they're like, we got to come up with another word. So they think they make one up, and that is the word mung. And Cartman's like, yeah, mung. So the New Yorkers show back up, and they're like, what's up, queefs, right? Like, and so they say, you know what you guys are? You guys are a mung. And the New Yorkers are like, we're not mung, you're mung. And they're like, ha ha ha, we made it up. Mung's not even a real word. The New York kids are like, you guys are idiots. Mung is actually a real word. And they explain what mung is, that mung is the actual discharge that comes out of a woman after she's had a child.
You're right, when you squeeze on
you jump up on her tummy. You squeeze down. I imagine it coming out either like the belly button or the vagina, like a long Play-Doh, but like black.
Well, yeah, it is pus. It's pus, so I don't think it'd be black, but
like pee-pee.
Gross. Now, it would have been cool if someone would have came out and be like, no, it's a bean. That would have been funny.
Right, mung beans, yeah.
You don't think that Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo, here's a little game for me to play with you. Stick me in your mouth and say howdy, ho ho, yum yum. That's so disgusting. I was thinking about that. I was talking about that with Ben yesterday on Light the Fuse. We were talking about Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo, and he was saying he didn't like it. We were like, oh, we're not the biggest fans of it. But there was a funny line, and I thought that was stick me in your mouth and say howdy do. Go back and listen to episode 49, guys. Our podcast exclusive Christmas songs. Listen to it now. Listen to it on Christmas. Listen to it when you're bored. It's a Christmas episode that you'll come to enjoy. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, listen to it with your children. Yeah. Scoop, listen to it with your 10-year-old. Have your child listen to it with your 4-year-old. It'll be a great time. Send me nasty emails. I would like to hear their reaction. In fact, if you could record your kids listening to it and send it over, I will put that on the show. Thank you very much. It would be like kids' reaction, South Park style. I don't think they would actually do that, but we'll do it here.
Cox, I love you.
Anyway,
so
while that's going on at the concert, Garrison apparently goes back to his parents' house, and he visits his parents' home and whatnot. And this is where the story gets weird, guys.
I've come to ask you about the sexual abuse, Dad. What? I have to know why. Right here and now, we're gonna talk about this.
What the hell are you talking about? I never sexually abused you.
I know. I want to know why not.
What?
Was it that I was ugly?
Oh my God!
I wasn't good enough for you. Was that it, Dad?
Well, no!
Sure, you could go off and screw any whore on Ryland Street, but when it came to your own son, you were just too busy.
Weird. So we find out that apparently Mr. Garrison's dad has never sexually abused him. So the whole guise of this we thought was that Garrison's father never sexually abused him. And apparently Garrison wanted that, guys.
Of course he did.
It's just a little weird,
But that's Garrison, though.
You think there are real people like that like wanted to be or liked being sexually what's the term? I can't even think of where you have sex with the people, incest or inbred
or inbred. Yeah, it's inbreeding,
or incestation or something. I don't
incest and inbreeding. Yeah, it's an incestual relationship.
It's nasty. Like somebody was telling me that the most number one thing people look up on porn is dude and like stepmom or something like that. I was like, that's fucking weird. I can't, like, that's, you guys, if you're looking at
But I
it,
mean,
guys.
it's a hot stepmom. You know what I'm saying? Not blood related. You know, she's not your mom, dude.
Right.
I know Scoop's looking up. Fuck.
Actually, the
No. Not that.
Oh, okay. Sending him. I appreciate that.
But, like,
That's nice. Scoop's an equal opportunity masturbator.
Equal opportunity.
That's a
Hottest
politician running for president 2028. Joe, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say the most searched term on Pornhub last year was amateur, then alien,
Well, that's
then
fine.
POV.
Alien.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
I
fair.
get it, but
I think a lot of these places, like I've heard that, or I've seen some of these porn sites become like covert ops to upload different things, because like you wouldn't think to go there and watch a specific episode of a brand new show, but things will get uploaded there, dude. It's crazy. Like someone was like, I was like, well, they were watching you porn, like, but it was like a brand new episode of American Dad. I was like, is this porn? He's like, no, American Dad. I'm like, oh,
on
okay.
porn?
Yeah, they'll upload different things because you can get around the copyrights. You know what I mean? If you think about it, not a lot of these copyright companies are going to go in there willingly looking for this shit, especially not on company time and company dime. Like, what are you doing today, Bill? I'm looking up to see if someone stole our stuff on the porn site. Shut the fuck up and get back to work. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that's largely done or even, really known about, because it's not like widespread amounts of it. But yeah, sometimes you'll see brand new movies up there, I'm told, and whatnot. I don't know. To be quite honest, guys, I don't visit a lot of these porn sites.
They've kind of turned YouPorn into a YouTube.
See,
you can upload whatever the hell you want to it.
Interesting.
I was gonna say there's quite a few out there that you can just upload your own shit to. You can just make an account.
Well, BitChute is becoming, I think it's going to be the next big thing, to be honest. I think a lot of people are using BitChute now because it's more unregulated, free, open video conversation. You're not getting censored or bogged down, by corporate sponsors and blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, so Garrison visited his pal. He's upset that he's not getting raped by his dad, sexually molested. His dad's extremely confused, of course, why his son would be mad about this. Now, back at the after being humiliated, of course, we remember the boys were shocked to hear to discover that the name Hmong is a real word, and the New Yorkers and everyone laughed at them. Then Mr. Mackey shows up to Mr. Garrison's dad, and this is such a weird conversation. And he tells,
"It's so weird and awesome.
Mr. Garrison, your son seems to be upset. Now, as his guidance counselor, we need to talk about the sexual abuse history in your family." And he says, "I never sexually abused my son." "Oh, you didn't? Oh, that changes everything." He's like, "Yeah, it does." And he's like, "Well," and then all of a sudden, Mr. Mackey flips because Mr. Garrison Sr. tells him that he's upset. Mr. Garrison is upset the fact that the father, him being the father, would not sexually abuse him. And then Mr. Mackey starts to rationalize and more or less enable this activity for Mr. Garrison by saying, "Well, how do you think he feels? He sees a lot of people on TV and media having sex with their uncles and fathers and thinking, well, is there something wrong with me?" Okay.
Hold on a second. Are you actually suggesting that I have sex with my 41-year-old son?
There comes a time in every father's life when he must ask himself, how far will I go to save my son's life? Okay.
Well, I won't have sex with him.
Well, I've said all I can say. I know it's difficult, but family is about compromises. Don't lose your son over this, Mr. Garrison. Don't lose your son. Okay.
And he basically ends this statement by saying, would you end up having sex to save your son's life? Okay. And Mr. Garrison's like, "No, I will not do that." And he's like, Don't lose your son over this, Mr. Garrison. Don't lose your son. Okay. Dude, Mr. Mackey is so pivotal in these early seasons. Like the
I
this
love
little,
it.
I still think I've been listening or thinking about it the last week or two. I still think the Hark Hear the Bells with Mr. Mackey is my favorite from the last. Hark Hear the Bells, sweet silver bells.
Ding dong,
Dong,
ding
ding,
dong.
dong. Okay.
And like even technically, that's really good multi-track recording.
I know,
and
it's great.
Yeah,
It's great. It's great. Well, so Mr. Mackey trying to convince Mr. Garrison to do it. Initially, of course, he's saying no. Now, that night, Cartman finally finds the legendary brown noise, and he's excited. So he grabs Stan and Kyle and shows them and says, look, they test it on Kenny, and they're like, nah. And they're like, yeah, no, dude, just go check it out again. So they go outside, and they do it again. They play the brown noise, and you see some guy, like, unloading stuff from a truck. Oh, crap. I think I just crapped my pants. So Stan and Kyle figure if they put this in the New York kids' music, then that'll get all the New Yorkers to crap their pants. So they elect to go to the music sheet and change it, put it on the New Yorkers' door, where one of the PAs walks by, sees this revision and think it's done by Yoko Ono herself. So she says, holy crap, Yoko Ono's made revisions. We got to make 4 million copies and get this out. Okay. So now that's going on. Now we're back at the Garrisons, and this is great. Mr. Garrison's like getting ready to go to bed. All right, I'm just gonna go up to bed. And then the dad's just like sitting there stoically watching television in his chair. Should be fine. Have a good night. He's like, I think I'll just go out there and I'm not gonna wear any boxers.
That's
Okay. I think I'm gonna leave the door open.
That's
Whatever
fine.
you need. I think I'm gonna leave the door open just in case you want to come in and say anything. And he says, won't be necessary.
yeah.
So he goes through all these different things, and he's like, actually, I think I'm just gonna probably not go ahead and take off my boxers. I'm probably just not gonna wear anything, and like trying to get his dad, fuck him. And his dad finally, I'm not gonna come up there and molest you. You don't love me.
I'll leave the door open a little in case you need to see me about anything.
Won't be necessary.
I'll just be going up to bed now. Guess maybe I won't even wear those boxers.
I'm not going to molest you.
You don't love me! I want to die!
God damn it!
Mr. Garrison runs off. What's weird too is when he tells his mom earlier in the episode, she's like, "Oh my God, Dad never molested me, Mom. No, I can't believe it."
Mother, did you know that Dad never sexually molested me?
That can't be.
He never did, Mom, not once.
That's not true. Your father loved you. Often.
He never did, Mom, and I think you knew he never did.
No, if I knew, I would have made him do it.
You stood by and let it happen. You saw him come home drunk and then just go right to sleep.
I'm not listening.
Face it, Mother, he never abused me.
I'm not hearing this.
I'm not gonna hear this. This isn't true. You're just like, what?
What is going on?
It's a weird fucking family in the South. Not that there's wrong with that. So Mr. Garrison, as we mentioned, went to bed depressed. And so Mr. Garrison Sr., now frustrated, he goes to the bar and starts to tell his troubles to his friends. Hey, would you guys have sex with your son to save his life? And his friends are all like, oh, this is one of them word jumbled scrumbled things. Okay, how about this? Would you have sex with your father to save your mother's life? I like how it gets down to the bartender, though. The bartender's like, if I was told I have to have sex with my father or my brother to save my mother's life, or I needed to have sex with my mother to save my brother's life, I just have sex myself. And everyone's like, yeah, me too. That's pretty good. But this was definitely one of those picture perfect scenes what guys do in bars. Like, would you rather have sex with such and such person or eat this type of food? And you're like, ooh, I don't know. That's pretty hard. It's usually not about.
Would you rather have sex with a prison inmate or be Arthur?
Ooh, and I say, hey, What a wonderful time of day. Just learn and love and play. Live with each other. So later, somebody enters later on that night, as the light rages on. Mr. Garrison's laying there and his door opens and someone enters Mr. Garrison's bedroom. And this gets, I mean, whether it's him or not, it's disturbing the notion when Mr. Garrison, this is, I would say, in all of my history of watching South Park, moreover of Mr. Garrison being turned into a man or female, I'm sorry, and getting banged by Richard Darwin. And you see his fake titties. Moreover, the Scissor Me Timbers stuff. Moreover, all the different sex scenes. I feel like this is probably, even though you hear it, it's just one of the most disturbing sex scenes in South Park history.
Dad? Oh, I'm just fast asleep, not hearing anything. Oh, Dad! Oh, goodness gracious! No, stop, Dad, stop! Well, how could you?
Because Mr. Garrison is getting plowed with what he thinks by his dad. And he's like, oh, Dad, oh, stop, Dad, stop. Oh, Jesus. And he believes he's getting ramrodded by his father. It's a very disturbing scene.
Yeah.
And it makes me kind of feel uncomfortable. I don't know about how you guys feel.
It was just one of those like, holy shit, I can't believe they went this far. And that was like when I was watching it as a teen, I'm like, whoa, because like when you're watching it the first time, you're not supposed to be in on the twist yet. You're still supposed to think that that's Herbert Sr. friggin' taking Garrison to town. And it's like, wait, did they, holy shit. Whoa, okay. But
well, the South Park creators must have known that because immediately the very next scene, Mr. Garrison's all excited. I think my work here is done. Well, I'm just glad we can get this over with and we can move forward as a family. So Mr. Garrison leaves believing he's been ramrodded. And then his mom leaves even like he did the right thing. After Mr. Garrison leaves and he's like, I didn't do nothing. And the reveal is we were shown that he opens up the closet and it's Kenny G, was the one who had sex with Mr. Garrison. Here's your $100 as promised. And he's all like, oh, no, thank you. Thanks. You don't need to give me money. So he leaves. So he takes off and he's out of here. So we then, from there, now Mr. Garrison excited. We get to the concert. The boys look in horror as they discover that the brown noise now apparently is in everyone's music. And everyone starts playing. And the boys are now desperately running toward the stage because they know that once they get to this brown noise, if 4 million people are playing this brown noise, shit's about to go down. And despite their efforts to fail and stop everyone from playing it, the brown noise is played and everyone's watching the most worldwide recorded concert and everybody in the whole world surrenders their bowels and shits themselves.
Yes.
Kenny dies from pooping too hard. And everyone's dead. They go to the news report. I'm in New York, but it could be any city. It could be any city. Could be Detroit, Chicago, Los Angeles, all over the world. Everyone has shit their pants, and nobody knows what the cause of it's for. And then you just see Cartman, Kenny. I'm not Kenny. I'm sorry, Cartman, Kyle, and Stan walk by in the background with a news reporter. Like nobody knows what the cause of it's for. And just as they're about to get back on the bus. And we're getting here to the conclusion. Just as they're about to get back on the bus, the New York kids approach them. They're like, we know you did this. That's pretty cool. Like, we figure if you made the whole world crap, that's pretty cool. And Cartman's like, well, just remember, everybody on the west side, not so bad after all. West side, not so bad after all. West side. And they get on the bus, and Mr. Garrison is asked by Mrs. Crabtree, where are we going? And Mr. Garrison says, second start to the right, straight on through to the morning, which is a Peter Pan reference.
Neverland stuff.
Neverland
and
reference.
Speaking of second start of the right, straight on till morning, I got to go to the second start of the right, straight on till morning.
Godspeed,
Adios.
Superman.
All right, Joe
Thank you.
Vernola, douchebag New York kid, has taken off. He's gonna go do Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. So check out
Some
Rocky Mountain
stuff like that. Yeah.
on Twitch. You'll
Yep,
find
yep.
that in the future. Just check
Yep.
out Rocky Mountain Pro, and you can follow him at JV Vernola on Instagram. So
Yep. And
Hi, Joe.
yep, Primos, all that fun stuff too. Later.
All right, well, Joe Vernola, of course, taking off to do the professional wrestling.
Hughes, go. See the cloud of dust behind him.
Cloud
We
of
must
dust,
smell
he's
it.
gone. I
Took a
just
shower,
did
you
something.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he took a shower. Okay. Well, that was the episode, guys. That was another action-packed, totally jacked, really stacked, check my bows review of episode number 48 overall, season 3, episode number 17, the season finale of season 3. And now we're gonna get into
What did Kenny say?
We're back. That's right. Another edition of What Did Kenny Say? Joe, he didn't say much. I mean, Scoop, he didn't say much. Joe's not here. We missed you already. But Joe, Scoop, he didn't say much, dude. Like, he didn't say nothing, really. It's a very short edition of What Did Kenny Say? Because throughout the episode, they basically would say something to Kenny, and his reply would either be, yeah, and I don't know. That was really his only 3 instances before. So I didn't feel like it was necessary to go through all the different build up for that, the dialogue. The only one that was really notable here is later on when Cartman finds the brown noise. He says, "The brown noise! Kenny and me found the brown noise. Here, look." And he places some earmuffs on Stan's head. And he goes, "There, okay, let's see here." And then he plays the brown noise. And he goes, "Ready, Kenny?" And then he plays it. And then Kenny says, "Ready." And then Stan and Kyle look at each other. And Cartman plays a fat bass note. Kenny farts and then yells out, "Oh, shit! Damn it, Cartman, I gotta go to the bathroom."
And that's what Kenny said.
That's what Kenny said. Well, there you go. So that's very short and sweet, Scoop. So why don't we jump into this trivia? Why don't you lay it down for us, buddy? Lay down some knowledge.
So the brown noise is a reference to the white noise, a Nazi method of driving the enemy insane with music during World War II. The New York Kid should have an appearance on South Park.
Hold on, before we move on to that, I just want to talk about that for a second. If you think about that, that kind of goes back to the meteor shower episode, 2 guys naked in a hot tub, when they're trying, when the ATF is trying to blast them out with right. So that's kind of interesting. That's kind of a variance of the white noise. I just thought that was a good call out there. Go ahead. Sorry.
So the New York Kid should have an appearance on South Park: The Stick of Truth, as the models of 4 of them can be found in the game files. Their appearance in the game, except Smitty, is slightly different from the appearance in this episode. The name of the New York Kid in the white tank top was revealed as Smitty in the game files. That's interesting. So, but they were supposed to, but they didn't, huh?
Well, they're basically in the files, right? Like, I think you can actually use them as character creation models. Like, you can make some of yourself look like the New York Kid. So, because I think they were supposed to be like characters or some form of characters played. When they weren't, then I think they just became, okay, we'll just make them models that you can use part of the models, right? More faces to use, more bodies, hairstyle. And, that Smitty character definitely kind of has like a greaser look. So I'm sure there was somebody who picked up the game and was like, "Oh, that looks like me." You know what I mean?
Okay. This episode displays Mr. Hat's capability of independent existence. Now, this one really kind of, I kind of questioned if it was just Mr. Garrison was just insane. But then, like, it's this episode and a couple others where it's like, yeah, Mr. Hat's fucking real.
So we haven't lost Mr. Hat yet because we haven't got Mr. Stick yet, right?
Nope.
So this would be one of the first, but I would also argue that technically, I mean, I know this is the first time they've showed in the episode, but he definitely displayed capability of independent existence in the movie when he drove the car.
Oh, right. Right.
So they have shown independent existence in the movie, but this was the first in the episode. Danny DeVito noted that this was in the South Park 5th anniversary special, that this was one of his favorite episodes. Interesting. During the shots of the 4 million children, there are various repeat appearances throughout the crowd. For example, in shots of the stage from the crowd, at least 15 versions of Brimmy can be seen. I'll buy it with green brims on their hats instead of yellow. Or Brimey, I guess. Brimmy? I don't know what that means. Maybe it's some sort of a European thing.
Maybe.
During the shot of the crowd, the stage, a mirror effect can be seen on the left side of the screen, resulting in several pairs of twins appearing along the edge of the shot. On televised airings, when the sheet music, the boys changed, appears on the stage wall, the camera zooms in on the changed note, but in the DVD version, it doesn't zoom in at all. This is one of the few times that the boys' actions have a negative effect on a massive national and even global scale. Other examples are going to be 2 days before the day after tomorrow, canceled, and then, of course, South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Go ahead.
Queefs are mentioned and focused on in later episode Eat, Pray, Queef.
She craved about 5.
You just don't get it, Sharon.
You just don't get it, Mom.
On the December 16, 2013, airing on Comedy Central, it was titled The Brown Noise. This is the first South Park episode to be aired in the new millennium. This is the first episode in the series to have aired in the 2000s. So,
let's get into some pop culture now. I'll read a couple things. One of the New Yorker kids are wearing a t-shirt that says Echo. This is likely a parody of the Echo clothing line that was very popular during the 90s.
Yes, it
the
was.
boys, that and Fubu. The boys along, and that guy, and the Fubu guy ended up being one of the Shark Tank guys. So there you go. The boys, along with the New York children, stay at the Roman Holiday Inn. This is a reference to the 1953 romantic comedy Roman Holiday, starring Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn. Very famous movie. In fact, it was one of my grandma's favorite movies. Cartman says that they should bring back another season of Chicago Hope. No, seriously, Chicago Hope is American medical drama. Chicago Hope is an American medical drama television series that was in its final season when this episode aired. So apparently Matt and Trey Parker were big fans. So yeah, Cartman's like, yeah, but seriously, guys, they bring it back. Because they're all like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? That they should bring back Chicago Hope? Like, what? Yeah, seriously, guys, they should bring back Chicago Hope. It's good shit.
Great, yeah.
Mr. Garrison, as we noted, second star to the right and straight on till the morning is a reference, of course, to Peter Pan. Also, it's also a reference in Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. But yeah, originally it was a quote from the folktale Peter Pan. Cartman threatens Kyle and tells him once he finds the brown note, quote, I'll make you trap set yourself so you look like Karen Carpenter. This is a reference to the singer who was part of the 1970s music duo, The Carpenters. She had suffered from anorexia most of her life and is believed that she had been consuming large amounts of laxatives along with thyroid medication and strict dieting in order to help her lose weight before her sudden death in 1983 at the age of 32. Crazy. And then the last thing here is when everyone at the concert plays the brown noise, Kenny is one of the many people, as we mentioned, died. But if you pay attention in the end, when they're on the bus, Kenny's alive. So that was interesting. All right. So I filled in here a lot of my top likes for once. And you filled in your top dislikes and likes. So let's go over them. My top like, of course, was Mr. Garrison starts crying in the classroom. And Cartman says, that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. I also liked Yoko Ono, the fact that you couldn't understand her. I said, you gotta come over here, you guys are horrible. The boys are like, what did she say? Dude, I have no idea. We both put the brown nut. We thought that was funny, obviously, making someone crap their pants. We thought it was funny that Mr. Mackey tried to convince Garrison's dad to fuck him. Don't lose your son, okay? Don't lose your son. Of course, I like the Peter Pan reference just because it's a nice little folktale there. We both like Mr. Hat versus Mr. Mackey, the fight.
Okay. You might have won this one, okay?
Right. And then you also put, go ahead.
Cartman really starting to define himself in this episode, where we're getting more of his jokes and stuff to where it's more of his solidified personality. Because you can kind of feel that they've been playing with their personalities up to this point, trying to really get those defined roles and stuff.
No, it's true. So that was our top likes. I think to get into our top dislikes here, my top dislike was just the story arc itself for Mr. Garrison. I just didn't like the story. I didn't like the fact that he wanted to be raped, molested by his father. That's disgusting. And that's weird.
Yeah, it was a little. This one kind of feels a little over the line. I too agree with you. This is one of my top dislikes too. Like even back then, it was a little edgy and a little over the line too. I felt, and it was definitely one that I couldn't have in my house. If I ever, like, if my parents were to walk in on me watching this episode, and like one of those moments where he's trying to talk about like why you didn't molest me, Dad, it would just be awkward, be weird. It's one of those episodes where it's kind of you can just maybe skip it and just go straight to season 4 after, it's me, Jesus, are you there, God? So
And then this leads to my second thing, of course, is Kenny G having sex with Mr. Garrison, but Mr. Garrison manipulating his son to make him believe it was him. So that just takes the lie even further now. Now you've got Kenny G involved in this. And
they don't go back to it. They don't correct it. They don't anything with it. They just kind of like
the only thing they do is
bury
Kenny G
it.
kisses him goodbye, and Mr. Garrison says, "Oh, you kiss like my dad." That's about it. That's the line for the episode. Season Suck My Balls 51, season 3, episode 17.
Oh, you kiss like
The
my
brown
dad.
note. The brown note in quotes. You kiss like my dad. That's the name of the fucking podcast. God, that was fun. So yeah, I didn't like that, the manipulation there. I didn't like the New York kids, how they represented here in this episode. I know that they were made to look like the bad kids, and eventually they obviously, come to the conclusion the South Park kids aren't bad. So as any kid does, with people they meet new people. So I get that. I just didn't like how they were kind of representative, like just a stereotypical New Yorker kid. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And if they were going to be represented, I would have liked them to have a more pivotal role. So if you're going to
Right.
introduce them, do something with them. Otherwise, they were really kind of an afterthought, other than the couple different scenes.
Right.
And then they're not really brought up again. I mean, until we, like, as we mentioned, other than sprites in the video game.
Mhm.
Recorder music in general, I don't like that. That was my next one. I just the recorder was it's kind of a dumb instrument in my opinion. Might as
Yeah.
well play the flute. Play the flute.
Yeah, or the clarinet,
The clarinet. Yeah, why are you gonna play the recorder? It's weird.
or anything but like triangle would be more fun.
There you go. Play the melodica. I'm just saying.
Fucking heart.
Heart.
Get some heart music back,
Dude,
yo.
we should learn how to play the heart, bro.
I'm down.
I will play that with you. All right. Dude, that you want to talk about chick magnet. Fucking for the fucking heart.
Play some
bro.
enchanting shit.
Bro.
Yo.
We could totally pick up chicks playing Dungeons and Dragons playing harps, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk.
Have like a weird setup to where it's just like we can like it's like just like a thing where you can walk around with it and you can
We'll
harp.
talk more.
We'll talk about this.
So, and then of course, next dislike here, let's talk about yours first before that's the last one, because I think this is a good one to go out on. But let's talk about the Yoko one. You said you actually didn't like Yoko.
No, I thought it was random as fuck. If they were gonna use her, they should have used the face. You know what I mean? Like they use it from time to time, but it's like, man, they really should have. They were gonna go with her. They should have used her face. I think that would have been a lot more fun.
It was weird that it was kind of just randomly plopped in there. Maybe it had. I do recall. I don't know how long ago this was, but I do remember when I was a kid that Yoko Ono was starting to come out with her album and singing and doing her thing. So this might have been right around that time. You know what I mean? So this could have been that shot at him. Just making fun of Yoko Ono because she was a horrible musician or horrible singer. At least that's how it was. At least that's. She doesn't sound good anyway. So that's how it's been presented. And if you listen to her music, it sounds best. So Her son, though, I don't know if you've heard her son play guitar and all that. He's a good musician for sure. Obviously being John Lennon's kid, right?
Right. Like,
Better be a good
I
fucking
hope
kid,
something would go down.
right? So that was so you just didn't like the Yoko thing, okay? And then I think we both agreed on this, and I know Joe would probably agree on this with us too. This was a very poor season finale.
Very poor. This is one of the worst. I think the worst. The number one.
I would
worst.
disagree with that one. No.
Okay.
Stanley's
Yeah.
Cup, in my opinion, is the worst season finale. Not a big Stanley's Cup fan. So we'll get there, but I'm not a big Stanley's Cup fan. Hey, coach. That's another heart wrencher one. I don't really like it. That's a hard one to watch. The kids get beat the shit out of, and the Red Wings win at the end. We are the champions.
Yeah,
we did it, coach.
Fuck. And then he dies, and
then
like,
the kid dies. It's a horrible season finale. It's a horrible season finale. Anyway, yeah. So, but you're to your point, not a strong season finale on this one. You know what I mean? Even you wrote you could skip this.
Yep. If you really just, or you could just watch the one Cartman joke where, you know, that's pretty sweet, or that's pretty cool. That'd be cute. And then when he figures out the brown note and Kenny farts in front of the kid, like when they all hear the brown note and they figure it out, then you can just skip it. Stop there and go to the next one. Because then it just, or I could even say, just skip it. Just skip it.
Yeah.
Because this is like,
yeah, no, you're right. I don't disagree. This is definitely like if you're watching it casually, if I'm watching it casually, I don't think I would have skipped it. Obviously, because I usually generally binge watch the shows. I'm not now. I'm actually watching it weekly. I've watched it twice already this week, but I'm watching it weekly just to stay, because it gives me something to do rather than burn through all the episodes again. But I did watch some other episodes yesterday because I wanted to. I was texting you and whatnot. But yeah, this was definitely an episode I would not go back to like regularly. If I'm gonna watch this season, I probably would have stopped at the Red Badge of Gayness. And then I would put on the Mr. Hanky's Christmas stuff around Christmas. It wouldn't be something that I would just watch normally. So, yeah, kind of a hard way to go out. But, we definitely get the turnaround here in the next season, man, because season 4 is a banger. Other than fucking Pip, the goddamn Pip episode, The Great Expectations. By the way, I booked us a guest for the Pip episode. We're bringing on a Brit.
Dude.
We're in England, and we're gonna bring on a Brit because I was like, and he watches South Park too. His name is Joe Atherton. He hosts the Smack Attack, and he's actually got a pretty big presence online in the UK, like on Twitter. Like he'll put something out, and like hundreds of people just comment and like it. Like he riles people up. It's funny when he talks about like rugby and soccer and stuff like that. So he'll be fun. He's gonna join us, and I basically was like, if I'm gonna shit on the Great Expectations episode, Charmed, I'm sure, and I'm gonna shit on this episode, then I'm gonna have a Brit on because either you're gonna shit on it with me or you're gonna argue with us. Which if you're gonna argue with us, that's great. That'll make for great radio. So that episode will be like at the end of February. So check that out, I guess. The fucking Pip episode. I've also got, I believe Ted McNaylor is going to join us for the wacky molestation episode where the kids say the M word. That's also in season 4.
Molested me.
Yeah. You mean the before time? In the before time, we have to make the sacrifice to the John Elway statue. Yeah, I have to get to Brindley for the biggest interview of my life. Anyway, so that'll be next season. Of course, there's Timmy's introduced next season. There's the Cartman becomes the whole premise of next season is Cartman trying to make $1 million. So it's a great season. I'm excited to see what you can do with your finger as well. Finger bang. Bang, bang, bang.
Finger bang, bang. Finger bang. Finger
bang, 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 bang. I'm gonna finger bang, bang you into my heart. Anyway, so guys, we are excited to bring you season 4. And, we didn't really put it over last week. I think it took maybe some time for us to set in. But we've recorded over 50 episodes. So we just want to thank you, the listener.
50 episodes, baby.
We want to thank you, the listener, for coming along with us on this ride as we continue along. We continue to record 50 more, and 100 more, 250 more, and hopefully 300 more as we want more episodes of South Park. But it's a big accomplishment. For me, more, I would even say more so like I have to try to look at it even from more your perspective too, because this is the only podcast that you do, right? So like, and I do so much podcasts on a weekly basis that I probably do more than 50 to 100 podcasts a year already. So like I have to step back and also think, oh man, this is a big accomplishment. I mean, we've done this consistently every week, not for 50 weeks, obviously, because we would be at the end of near December, but we're getting close. This is like week 48, week 49. But episode, we've done a couple bonus ones, obviously, in the movie. So, but with over 50 episodes, that for us to have that consistency, I think as a podcast or any form of media, it's hard to show that consistency. So by us showing that, that's now starting to build out the library. More fans are tuning in and listening and interacting with us, whether it be here or on YouTube. So we really do appreciate you. And we do want to hear from you. So send us your information. Send us your thoughts. suckmyballspod@gmail.com. As I mentioned before, if you have a voice recording you'd like to get over or like to congratulate for our 1-year anniversary show, which will be in January, please send that in. I will edit that into the episode. You can also interact with us on Instagram and Twitter @SuckMyBallsPod, on Facebook @SouthParkPod. You can also follow me on Twitter @Matthew_Schaffer. Check out my other shows like the Fuse Podcast and AEW Review with Ben Hummy and Chris Silvio. This week we also had Rip Rogers on, who's basically the guy that's you trained every pretty much WWE wrestler that's been famous, from John Cena to Chris from Batista to Randy Orton. Anybody and everybody that's come through WWE in the last 15 years was trained under Rip Rogers. So, and that's the guy who trained Ben Hummy. So I work for him. We're on his platform, Hummy Media Group. So shout out to them. Check out that show. The Impact Attack, I also host that as well. I also edit the New Force Order podcast and the Star Wars podcast. You can check out the New Force Order podcast and the Star Trek podcast. You can check out the 2 episodes of the New Force Order podcast this week, as we had on the guy who does the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars Rebels.
Steven
Stanton. Yeah,
dude,
we had him on.
Sick.
So go check that out. We had a whole hour conversation they had with him. He's super cool. So that's on right now.
Out.
Yeah, so check out that interview. That's up there. And then I believe I'm going to go ahead and say it now, because by the time this airs, it'll be up. The Star Trek podcast is interviewing professional wrestler Lance Archer. He's coming on to do a Star Trek podcast with them. So the Murder Hawk himself. Go check that out. So that's all my stuff. Of course, you can follow Scoop, I believe, at Jackson_Scoop on Instagram if you want to post memes and have fun, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You have any other final parting words today, Scoop?
Come on.
Set. Nah. We'll see you next week, guys. Suck my balls.
What is that?
It's my bone.
God damn it, Cartman!
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison?
Holy shit, dude.